Hello and welcome to Reality Recapped, where I recap all of the trashiest reality shows. I want to thank every person who has subscribed, liked, and commented. It's made a huge difference for the growth of the channel. Some of you may not know I just started this channel on September 13th, and I am blown away by the response. I'm really grateful for how encouraging you've been, and I'm really excited about the community that we're building. And if you're new here, please consider subscribing. It doesn't cost you anything, but it makes a huge difference on my end financially. So I'm going to cover Sister Wives Season 17, Episode 5, The Last Gathering. Wait, is it The Last Family Gathering? Yeah, The Last Family Gathering, which feels really ominous and unnecessary. Like, how do we know this? We don't know that this is the last family gathering. You can have a divorce and still, get together. So I don't know. It feels slightly negative, but I don't know. It's drama. It's for us. They did it for us, you guys. So it opens with Cody walking through a field, and in his confessional, his talking head, he says that he feels really separated from the family. It's been a couple weeks since Christine talked to the wives, and no one has talked or seen each other since then. Cody says that he's struggling through the divorce process, but there's a lot of other things going on. Like, for example, Janelle's moving out and he's got to figure out how to get the RV onto the property. So Cody pulls up in a new vehicle, and it's powerful enough to pull the RV. And can I just point out, why are you wearing gloves when you're driving? I get it if you're like attaching a hitch, hooking up cables with the RV, but why are you using it when you're just driving? Are those your driving gloves? Is it COVID related? What is happening? He's just so funny. Cody plants a big kiss on Janelle when he meets her, and it just feels weird. It feels kind of performative, and Janelle's kind of laughing. Like, it seems like she's pretty uncomfortable with it. Okay, I'm not a huge fan of Robin, but this cracked me up, so I'm going to play it for you.
Oh, we have to buy a truck to move a trailer. I'm like, no, you don't.
I love what she's saying here. It just made me laugh so hard, especially the way she said it. But I agree with her. You do not need to have a truck. You can get it moved until we find out that you can only have an RV on your property for 120 days in the area that they're living. So they're going to have to move the RV every 120 days. Cody says that he purchased this from his brother's widow, so his sister-in-law, and it was his brother's truck, so he's happy to have it, still in the family, and that's kind of sweet. I get it. That's sweet. And then, of course, right away, he turns around and makes the most sexist comment that is really infuriating. Cody says that he can use the truck for some of the time, but that he doesn't like to have equipment that he's not using all the time. So Janelle says,
well, I'll drive this then. I love it.
I don't want to wear out this truck on a soccer mom, okay?
Sexist. Okay. Janelle's response is so funny, though. She's like, well, you were just complaining that it's, equipment and you don't want to not use it. And now you're saying that I can't use it. It was just funny. She rarely talks back to him, and I appreciate it when she does. So Janelle says that, she's going to learn how to drive a truck, that Maddie has a big truck, and she's fine driving it, so she can too. It's just like a learning process. And then, of course, we have to go through the wives. Robin says that she's heard really funny stories about Janelle.
Janelle struggling to drive big vehicles and to do things and stuff like that. So
at least Janelle tries, is what I can say to that. I don't think there's anything wrong with trying things that you don't know how to do. And of course, there's going to be a learning curve involved, but that doesn't mean that you're inept. It's just that you're learning a new skill set, just like Janelle said. And I think Robin is being extra snarky. I think the stress of everything that's going on and the fact that Christine is leaving, typically she does not say things like this publicly. She tries to appear, at least, to be very middle of the road.
Oh, I don't know.
Okay, then. So Cody is such an anxious kind of person. I don't know. Do you guys feel anxious when he starts talking like this?
You and I honestly need to go out to the property and look at where we want our home sites.
It's like if you're already in a stressful situation, having this kind of like frenetic, intense energy is just not helpful. And my Lord, moving is very stressful. Building is very stressful. Driving a big old truck is stressful. There's all sorts of things that are stressful. And the way you respond to it really affects how everybody else feels around you. I am not a stressed out person, but this man stresses me out. And I'm not even there, you guys. What do you think? Is this something that I'm just experiencing, or are you guys also experiencing this? Janelle tells us that she is hoping to build a little casita, and essentially what she's describing is a garage, but with like an apartment above it. She says that they're very common in that area. She's moving onto the property at the end of June, and she's hoping to break ground working on this casita during winter, which confuses me because I always thought you had to pause, like if it's snowing, if it's freezing temperatures, or if the ground is frozen. I'm assuming that building completely stops. I could be wrong. I don't live in an area that has snow, so maybe you guys can throw your 2 cents in and let me know. I wanted to mention that you might be hearing some snoring in the background, and I apologize. My very tired and very cute dog has come into the office, and he's sleeping right now and snoring his cute little head off. Robin says that she doesn't think Cody's going to do well in this RV, and I'm guessing it's because the closets are so small, he's not going to be able to crawl in them and hide. Janelle tells us that everything is usually fine with Cody, and they'll be in agreement about something, and then he'll go away for 2 days, and when he comes back, he brings back like these lists of like reasons why this isn't going to work, and she feels really like abandoned as his wife when that happens. Cody is saying that he is not going to ask the wives for permission for Janelle to move on the property, that she needs to speak to them directly. Janelle says that she doesn't have to ask for their permission, she can just do it. And she is just flat out wrong on that. If it's my property, no, you can't just park whatever you want on it. If I was one of the wives, I would be like, oh man, yes, of course you can use my property. I wouldn't have a problem with it. But I would also, it's polite to ask. That's not a bad thing. Mary says she doesn't want an RV pad on her property. And I don't think that she has to put down a concrete pad to have the trailer on there. The land in that area is really hard. I don't think they're going to have issues with that sinking or anything like that, which is why you would do that. But I think Mary just likes to throw up roadblocks. Like it just kind of underscores, remember how Janelle didn't want Mary to be on the pond property because she was worried about her granting or taking away access? And I can totally see Mary doing that. So yeah, I think this is just kind of how Mary is. Robin says that she hopes that when Janelle and Cody are on the land, that they'll be able to formulate ways to pay off the property faster. Okay. Cody says that Janelle always does things separate, and she kind of has to because you're not around. What do you expect her to do? Just nothing? It's been 3 years. That's what she's been doing, and she's done waiting. Okay, so with Janelle moving, Cody is also going to have to move his stuff out of Janelle's house. And Christine tells us something really interesting, that in Las Vegas, he had 4 of everything. And he no longer has stuff at Christine's house because they're getting a divorce. And she says that he no longer has stuff at Mary's house, and now he can't have stuff in Janelle's house. So what is he going to do with all this stuff? And that reminds me that one of you commented, and I tried to find the original comment, but I cannot find it. But one of you commented, like, why are there so many boxes in the bottom level? And now we know why. So whoever commented that, thank you for that. And we finally have an explanation. So Mary is now at her Airbnb. Her mom passed away a month ago, and she had to shut everything down because she wasn't able to, I guess, be there and run the business, and her mom was the one who was doing that. But do you guys also remember that Mary and Cody's child moved to the Airbnb with their significant other during the pandemic? I remember there was an issue because Mary ended up helping them move, and Cody was just like, yeah, I'm not going to help. So I'm not sure where they are. There's always things left out, and that gets frustrating because it's like, wait, what is true? What is happening? I just thought of something though. I know that Mary's child was transitioning to a different gender. So maybe they weren't at a place where they could run the Airbnb. Maybe there were things that they were going through at that time and weren't able to. Maybe that is what it was. Yeah, so maybe that's the piece that we're missing. And it's interesting because Mary isn't talking about it at all. That would be an additional thing that's kind of different. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with her child deciding that she feels like she's a different gender and switching. But I would think that would also have a layer of change, right? And so she's having a lot of change. She's having the death of her mom. She's having Christine leaving. She's having the restructuring of the family. And so that's a lot of stressors. And then there's that's a pretty big one, that your child is changing their identity. Again, there's nothing wrong with them doing that, but it's a change. It's different, and change can be really hard when you're accustomed to one way and seeing things one way. That can be difficult. But she's not mentioning that, and who knows, that could be in part respect for her child, or it could be denial. We don't know. Okay, so Cody told Mary, maybe you should just move up there and live in the Airbnb. And Robin is defending Cody, and she's like, it just seemed insensitive. Yeah, because that was insensitive. And she's like, Cody just thinks out loud. Well, Cody is a grown-up, and you can learn how to filter yourself. I mean, I think just saying things that are insensitive and then acting like the person has no responsibility for doing that is doing a disservice to that person, right? You're capable. You're capable of reeling it back in. I believe in you. I know you are strong enough to be able to control what comes out of your mouth. Cody said that he was just problem solving for Mary. Mary came to him. She had this problem, and so he came up with this suggestion as a way to solve it. I think this is a really interesting area that I'd like to touch on briefly. So, men and women communicate for different reasons. Men communicate to exchange, again, this is a generalization, so take this with a grain of salt, but men typically communicate to exchange ideas and information. Women typically communicate to create more of a bond and to help relieve stress. So if you have a problem, sometimes just talking out loud, you gain insights by doing that, but you're not necessarily looking for someone to solve the problem for you. You're just wanting someone to validate that you're going through something rough. They understand what you're going through. That's important. And that's what women are looking for. Just an ear, just an active listener. And I think knowing that there's like a difference in communication style, it can be really nice too if you can develop kind of questions. So like if you're speaking to your spouse and they're male and you're a female and you're just wanting them to listen, you can create language around that. So like, hey, I know that you're really good at problem solving. Right now, what I would really like is just an ear. Or if you're male and someone's venting to you, you can ask, hey, so what are you needing from me right now? I want to give you what you're wanting. Are you wanting me to help you spitball ideas so that we can come to a solution? Or are you needing like an ear right now? Is that what you're wanting? So I think that's a difference in genders that can maybe be frustrating, but once you understand kind of what's going on and how people are operating from different places, it can alleviate some of that frustration. So going back to Mary, she kind of lists all of the stressors that she has right now. It's Christine leaving, her mother passing away, running the Airbnb, and Cody and her conflict. And she says it's a lot. And what she needs to do now is just to stay focused on what she has control over. And that's such a great strategy for managing during really hard times. And interrupting the thoughts of like, oh no, what if, if you can pull your mind back when you recognize that it's drifting off into that area, because you can't really solve those things. And our minds are so good at perseverating, that's the word. So, interrupting that, sometimes you can do different strategies to interrupt it as well. One strategy that you could try, if this interests you, is to kind of connect yourself to your body. So you stay focused on sensation. For example, if you're eating, you pay attention to the texture of the food, the temperature of the food. If you're sitting in a chair, you notice the pressure of your body sitting on the chair and how that feels. Scents are another good thing to focus on. It's just a way of kind of redirecting your thoughts to focus on body sensations, and it helps to interrupt perseverating. Did I say that right this time? Do you ever do that where you say a word so many times and then you're like, did I ever even know how to say that word? I think I got it. You guys know what I mean anyway. I wanted to mention that I felt really so sad for Mary. Like, I actually cried when I watched the show, and she is not one of my favorite people, but she was talking about how her and Cody were like the beginning. They started all of this, and now he's going to try to shove her to the side. And I imagine that she has to feel so alone in this. And remember that one of the main reasons that they always talk about the sister-wives relationship and how important that is, because you always have a sense of community. You always have relationships with people around. And even though she's set her life up in this way, she doesn't have that. And how much of that is her responsibility and how she's responded to things is one part of it. But I would also say, just as another human being going through loneliness, how sad that is. I feel for her. I really feel for her. She mentions that she has days where she can't keep it together and can't leave the house, and she can't put on a brave face, so she just stays home. And I wish that there were people there for her. Hopefully, her child is there. And I think she does have friends, so hopefully she has a support system in place that can help. Okay, so now we're back to Cody and Janelle, who are driving to see the RV that Janelle bought. Cody says, Janelle looked for like half an hour on Marketplace and she couldn't find a place, so she just decided to buy an RV. And that does not strike me as Janelle's personality in the least. Janelle does not seem impulsive to me. She seems like someone who is very logical and thinks things through ahead of time. And I feel like that's more Cody style, to kind of jump into something and be all in. And then once he's all in, he's like, oh, I don't know if I want this anymore. She doesn't seem fickle to me at all. Janelle is so nervous about seeing this RV that she asks Cody to not film her when she sees it for the first time, which tells you how worrisome that was for her. But fortunately, the RV actually looks really nice inside. Janelle says that it's so big. She didn't realize it was going to be so massive. And Cody's like, it's so tiny. It's so funny how perspective affects what you're seeing. I agree with Cody, though, here. It seems really big before all your stuff is in it. And with two people, it just reminds me of like those, of crowding and how crowding affects mood and stress. But, they can make it work if they decide to. We can survive a lot of things. They may not be ideal, but we can survive them And Janelle says, it's a sacrifice for building the house, and that's what she's wanting, and she's totally capable of dealing with that. I want to say and clarify here that when I'm referring to two people living in it, it's Janelle and Savannah, her daughter. I do not think for a second that Cody's going to be in this trailer. Interestingly enough, Janelle touches on similar themes that Mary was bringing up about the stress of unanswered questions in life and just trying to move forward. And she says similar things in terms of like staying on the road, staying focused on the road, and just moving forward. So a lot of people are feeling the same thing in the family. I wonder if they're able to talk about it. My guess would be no. I don't know that they feel... What do you guys think about that? Do you think Janelle seems fickle, or does that seem more like Cody? And, I guess I can see the point that, they're like, well, she bought an RV sight unseen. But we have to remember the context of the time, which was a lot of people, because of the pandemic, were able to work from home. And a lot of people were like, if I can work from anywhere, as long as I have Wi-Fi, why don't I also go travel? So there was this huge demand for RVs. The price went up, and it was really hard to find them during that time. So she knew exactly what kind of RV she wanted. She found it online. So based on what was going on during the time, it seems less crazy. If we don't have that information, then yeah, it just seems insane that you wouldn't just take your time and go see it. But she was aware that she probably wouldn't be able to get that one if she waited and sat on it. Cody says that Janelle and he are in the middle of moving. Janelle mentions that she is in the middle of moving and doesn't mention Cody, but does say that her boys have been a really big help, that they've been packing stuff and that they've been moving those really heavy boxes. Cody goes on to say how stressful this move has been for him. There's no storage anywhere. And we see pictures of Janelle moving heavy boxes, of his two sons moving heavy boxes, and of Cody sitting in a confessional, nowhere in sight. Cody further tells us that some people in the family think that living in an RV is very cringe. Why are you gossiping? You say you hate gossiping, and here you are gossiping. And not only that, you are saying this on national television. You are telling the public, the general public, that two of your wives are talking smack about one of your other wives. Like, what do you think the effect of that's going to be? Do you think it's going to help heal the family? It's just, he can be so silly in how dumb he is. And it just makes me so mad. I feel very protective of Janelle because I feel like she's sacrificing so much so that they can create what they were supposed to create. And instead of being appreciated for that, she's being talked about and looked down on, which is the opposite of what they should be doing. Also, there is nothing wrong with living in an RV, living in a trailer, wrong with that, and it shouldn't be something that people are made to feel ashamed of, or that it's beneath them. That really ticks me off. So they talk about the culvers that they're having to put in so the road doesn't get washed away. And I just wish they had spent more time on this. I mean, they told us what kind of rock they got, but where was the quarry? Am I right, you guys? Tell me more. What was the circumference of the culvert that you put in? Okay, total sarcasm. That's not interesting at all. I don't know why they spent time on it, but I guess they finally did something on the property and they wanted to film it. See, guys, we did do something. So you guys know I'm not happy with Robin right now. So this is the picture you get, Robin, when you're not nice. So she's saying, I could never live in a trailer because I have too many kids. Yeah, that's the reason, because I have too many kids. I'll go with that. Mary said that she wouldn't live in an RV unless, of course, she's traveling. And that's the only way she'll do it. So, Janelle, if you go on a trip, give her a call. Just kidding. Don't do that. So the only person that was against the one house idea has now left the family. So my question is, Why aren't they returning back to that idea? If that was something that was so important to the culture, the family culture, why aren't they doing that now that they don't have anyone opposed to it? Well, Cody tells us that he's going to build 5 houses, and 2 of those houses, the one that's on Christine's old property and his that's near the pond, are going to be rentals, and that's what they're going to live off of for retirement. He's so funny because he feels so clever. He's like, that's called an asset. Yes, Cody, it is. Cody says that he feels like his life is in limbo right now, and he's still in the anger phase of the divorce. Okay. Cody, who has not seen his children at all, decides that the day of Isabelles' party is the day to hang out with her. You know, because he's going to see her anyway at the party, so might as well visit with her alone beforehand. Christine says that Ysabel was going to help her with the party. And besides Isabel, she has Gwen, who has to go into town to run errands, and Truly. So she's like moving tables and blowing up balloons and nailing stuff up. And she just was like, you know what? I'm just going to let Isabel go. And not everything's going to get done. And that's okay. I love her freaking attitude. I think she said she was just playing nice. And she lets us know that the deal with why everyone can now get together is they have either gotten a COVID shot or tested negative for COVID prior to coming over. And that's why everybody can come over. It's not going to be socially distanced. People can hug and be close and act as they did before the pandemic. So it's very exciting that they can finally get back together. Christine says she doesn't know which kids know yet that she is leaving Cody. She has not yet told Truly, but she doesn't know what the other parents have done. Except for Janelle. She knows that Janelle has already told the kids, and her sons don't see it as a discontinuation of their relationship. They think that it's just a little bit of a disruption, but they're already planning on visiting her when she moves to Utah. Robin says that she's told all of her kids, her older kids are really sad about it, and her younger are really just confused and very, very sad. And yes, I'm going to use this picture for the rest of this video. Robin says that she hopes it's not awkward. You know, everything's just so raw, and she just hopes everything is like fine at the party, and she doesn't know how it's going to be, and blah, 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 blah. Izzy is so happy to see her siblings, and she gives them all huge hugs, and they're all so excited to see one another, and it's really sweet to see that. And speaking of not being awkward, Robin just walks in and walks right by Izzy, and this is what happens. So Izzy's being really sweet, and she's saying, "Thank you for coming, Robin. I really appreciate it. I miss you." Robin just keeps hugging her. I don't hear her say anything back about that, which seems really cold. Janelle says she's just trying to stay present when she's at the party and not think about anything else, just kind of focus on staying present and having fun at this party. Izzy says that she knows about the divorce, that of course she's sad about it, but that she wasn't surprised to see it coming. And what she hopes is that her mom can find someone who really loves her a lot. And that's such a sweet, such a sweet sentiment. McKelty also has seen this coming. She's not surprised about the divorce either. They both have not been happy for a long time and are not in love anymore. So she understands it. Tony says, no man is perfect enough to keep all these women happy. And I think it's a little bit more complicated than that, but you know. Cody says that he feels like he deserves more respect than what he's getting, and so he's kind of in a grumpy mood and a little bit, he says he's very melancholy and very sad about everything that's happening, and he says it's like a dark cloud over him, so he's not really enjoying the fact that everyone's getting together. I mean, he's happy about it, but it's not like lifting his spirits or anything. And then Cody does like just the most embarrassing, This sums up what kind of a father he is better than anything.
17?
I'm almost sweet 18.
Oh yeah,
This is an 18 party.
Yeah, so you're sweet 18.
Woo!
So Cody goes on to say that what it means by sweet 18 is that she's never been kissed by a boy. And it's just so disgusting that he doesn't even remember how old she's actually turning. And to yell out loudly in front of everybody else about what she has or has not done, it just feels so inappropriate and gross. And he says that he feels the same way about the boys too, that they shouldn't have kissed. But I don't ever remember him yelling that out in front of a group of people before. I have seen him do that to his other daughters. And if I wasn't as tired as I am right now, I would definitely go and look that up. Maybe I'll put it in another video at another time. He says, that'll definitely get you a new car. And Izzy's like, woo, yay, that's great. I guarantee you he's not going to buy you a car. I would love to see that though. Everybody sings Izzy happy birthday, and they have the sweetest surprise. They're all singing a song together, and it starts out with Christine, and then everybody joins in.
No one else can speak the words on your lips.
It's incredibly sweet, and Izzy seems to really appreciate it. She's crying, and she's just thanking everybody. It's just such a lovely thing that they all did. It was so, I don't know, it's just so sweet that they did that for her. Izzy says she thought the party was really successful. Everybody had a really good time. And a lot of people commented that they did have a good time. And it felt like it was back to normal. Christine says that Izzy is full of grace and kindness, but she's also so strong. She's had such a harder path with migraines and with her scoliosis. And but she's so incredibly strong as a result of it. And Christine's very proud of her. She's going to be moving to live with Caleb and Maddie, and I hope she's safe when she's there and has a great time. Robin says, you know, how we're having such a great time. How can you leave this? Well, because one afternoon of fun doesn't make up for years of neglect. And oh my goodness, are they wearing the same shirt? They are so, I can't tell if it's the exact same shirt or if it's just similar, very similar. So Mary also says the same thing that Robin did, that, you know, we're all having so much fun, and why can't we just work on things and make things better? And it's like, Christine can't do it alone, and Cody's not cooperating, and she's not going to waste any more time, and neither should you.
I'm devoted to doing what I need to do.
I mean, you know, that's great. If that's how you want to live your life, unhappy by yourself, driving in a car during an emergency with nobody else by your side, that's your choice if that's what you want to make for yourself. But Christine is not going to accept that. She deserves more. Cody says that he's just filled with regret, and he wishes that Christine wouldn't leave and that Ysabel could stay in town and go to college, and they can have like this quasi-normal family situation. I don't think Cody means anything that he's saying. I think this is all lip service to kind of clear up his image a little bit. Because if he was just nonchalant about it, then he would seem like an even bigger jerk about it.
The message that we had to the world about functional polygamy seems so dysfunctional now.
He, again, is making this about polygamy and how polygamy doesn't work, because that's easier for him to point to than any sort of accountability in what he lacked in the marriage as a partner. At least he's consistent, I guess. I don't know. That was a long one. Thank you for hanging in there. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Did I miss anything? Let me know.